Bonjour, Kinamagi and Ireland Indishnikas, and welcome to today's reading lesson. Today's lesson, Comparing and Contrasting Characters, Day 1. Comparing and contrasting characters is something that you likely do automatically in your head. And frequently, when done in school, you will see items such as this Venn diagram, quite frequently drawn as two circles with an overlapping section. So we're going to read about Penny and her dad, and then we will look at some of the similarities and differences. The expectation is that you will read along with me and think about what things will be unique to Penny's mom's house, Penny's dad's apartment, and what is the same. You will fill in these papers if you're in class with me. If you're at home, you should fill them in and just be able to show me an image of it to earn credit for today. Penny and her dad. When Penny's parents separated, she was very sad and disappointed. She also had a lot of questions. Where will I live? She asked her parents. You will stay here in the house with your mother, her father said. I am moving to an apartment and you can come visit me there. The house did not seem the same once Penny's father had moved out. His magazines were not on the coffee table. His favorite green apples were no longer on the kitchen counter. The magnet that she had bought him at Disneyland was no longer on the refrigerator. The house suddenly seemed too big for just Penny and her mother. Her father called her on Friday afternoon. I would like for you to come spend the weekend with me, he said. Penny was excited, but she was nervous too. What would her father's apartment be like? Would she feel at home there? Her father picked her up a few hours later. Penny met him in the driveway with her backpack over her shoulder. The next time you come, you can bring a few more things with you if you want, her father told her. I want you to feel at home when you come to stay with me. Penny watched her house slip away in the side view mirror as they drove down the street. She had lived in that house her entire life. It had a big front porch and a wide curving staircase. And Penny had her very own room with pink walls and a bunk bed and a desk to do her homework. She wondered if it made her father sad to leave the house too. It took 20 minutes to drive to her father's apartment. He had moved into a high-rise building downtown. Penny was familiar with the building because on the street level, there was an ice cream shop where she and her father liked to go. Oh, Penny exclaimed when she saw it. I know this place. Her father smiled. Every time I see the ice cream shop, I think of you, he said. The apartment was on the 15th floor. It looked out over the river. Penny walked around, looking at everything. Her father's magazines were on the coffee table. There was a bowl of his favorite green apples on the kitchen counter. The magnet that she had bought him at Disneyland was on the refrigerator. The apartment was much smaller than their house, but it felt cozy. I have one more thing to show you, her father said, and he led her down the hall. He opened a door, and there was her bedroom. Only it couldn't be her bedroom because her bedroom was back at home, in the house. She looked up at her father in confusion. He smiled. I had it painted the exact same color, he said. I bought the same bunk bed, the same curtains, and the same desk. What do you think? I love it, Penny said, throwing her arms around her father's neck. He picked her up, and for that moment, in her dad's arms in her very own room, it was as if she had never moved out of the house at all. He had never moved out of the house at all. All right, so let's find some similarities and differences. What is true about just Penny's mom's house? Let's see if I can make this a little bit different in size. We know that it was a house in the neighborhood. And we know his was an apartment downtown. So in the case of a house in a neighborhood, that was what was specific to Penny's mom's. Penny's dad's was an apartment downtown. That's specific to there. What do we have? Something that's the same. Her bedroom, the appearance of her bedroom. We also know. So we have a house in the neighborhood, the look of her bedroom, an apartment downtown. That's an example of finding things that are the same, which is in the overlapping section, and then true about only Penny's mom's house and only about Penny's dad's apartment. I might even add by ice cream shop. That's pretty important, I think, in this story too. Let's go ahead and copy these in. I'll give you a moment, and then we will move on. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen, and let's go to the second part. And this one is called Party. Sounds fun. We have the story. And now we're going to be what was the same and different about the setting between the tea party and the laser tag party. What was the same and different about the event? And what's the same about Harriet and James? So there's multiple questions here. I'm going to go ahead and make this just a little bigger as we read. Jessica was very excited. She had 2 birthday parties to attend in one day. Harriet was having a tea party for her 11th birthday, and James was having his 11th birthday at Shadowland, a laser tag place on the other side of town. I will have to take a change of clothes, Jessica told her mother. I can't possibly wear the same thing to both a tea party and a laser tag battle. Jessica wore a pink dress to the tea party, which was held at Harriet's house. There were half a dozen girls there. All of them wore pretty dresses, except for Tanya, who wore shorts and a t-shirt. I didn't know what to wear, she said. I have to play laser tag after this. It was bright and clean and very fancy. The dining room was decorated with balloons, and streamers were draped from the candelabra over the table to the corners of the room. There was tea and a pile of tiny sandwiches cut into squares, diamonds, and circles. There were sugar cookies dusted with sparkling pink sugar and cupcakes with pink icing. This is also pretty, Jessica thought. The girls ate lunch and played some games, and then Harriet opened her presents. She said, oh, and ah, at every one, and held each gift up for the other girls to see. Thank you, she said. These are all so lovely. When Jessica's mom picked her up after Harriet's party, she had already changed into her shorts. Harriet still had on her tea party dress. Can we give Harriet and Tanya both a ride? Jessica asked her mother. Her mother agreed. The girls laughed and sang songs all the way to Shadowland. Inside Shadowland, it was dim and the music was playing loudly. The girls quickly found the rest of their friends with James, playing video games. Lights flashed and the games all made different sounds, chiming and clanging and dinging, which, over top of the music, created a real cacophony. Soon their team was called to the arena to play. They were given the rules. Then Jessica put on her vest and tested her gun, and the game began. In the arena, there was exciting music playing. It was dark, and Jessica could see the red beams of light in the air and on the walls as she and her friends shot at each other. She hid behind the barriers, darted from room to room, up and down ramps. All too soon, their game was over. Everyone was famished. They piled back into the party room for pizza and soda. There were their brightly colored tablecloths on tables. James' cake was shaped like a football. They each got a huge piece with a scoop of ice cream. James didn't open his presents. His mother put them in a large bag and took them out to the car to open later. For the rest of the party, Jessica, Tanya, and Harriet played skee ball. You had a big day, Jessica's mother said after They had dropped off the other girls and were on their way home. Which party did you like the best? I don't know, Jessica said. They're impossible to compare. Well, we're going to go ahead and attempt to compare. We're going to go one section at a time. So what was the same and different about the setting? Well, this one should be fairly straightforward. What was the same? It's a birthday party. What was different? One at home and one at Shadowland. Go ahead and write that in. And we'll move down the screen. Let me clear. That did not clear. There we go. All right, 2, the tea party and the laser tag party. What was the same and what was different? The same, I think they're both birthday parties. Both had lots of friends, or same friends. What's different? Tea party or fancy tea party. Let's go fancy. I think that's important to add in there. Fancy tea party, laser tag. Those are 2 very distinct differences. And I think as far as characters, what was the same? They were friends. They were 11 years old. What's different? Harriet seems fancy. James is more into sports and games. Go ahead and write those in. Give just another few seconds. And then we'll move on. All right. If you are in the physical classroom, you should make sure your name's on and it's turned in. If you are at home, all I need is to see an image. You can do this via the Zoom. You just can say, Mr. I, I'm going to show it to you. Or you can take a picture and scan it and send it to me via text or email. It's up to you. That wraps up today's lesson. Tomorrow's session, we will go ahead and do this for a grade. Have a minute, Gijigad. Meanwhile, Bama P.